From Taranaki, let's head south, a long way south. An official visit to the subantarctic Auckland Islands has been given a glimpse of what a predator-free New Zealand could look like in the future. But there's still work to be done to make these islands, which lie 465 km south of Bluff, pest-free before the mainland can be attempted. Our reporter Ian Telfer was part of the Department of Conservation delegation to the largest of New Zealand's subantarctic islands, and Ian filed this report.
It took 24 hours on a Navy patrol ship, rigorous quarantine searches and the vacuuming of every belonging, even underpants. Then jet boats and inflatable Zodiacs to get here. But what a place awaited us at pest-free Enderby Island. In the space of just half an hour we saw sea lions, royal albatrosses, a rare rata forest and then 3 yellow-eyed penguin chicks standing on a boardwalk. The Parliamentary Private Secretary for Conservation, Scott Simpson, stood transfixed.
Oh, it's just amazing to see these penguins so close, just sort of looking at us more suspiciously than we're looking at them is fantastic. Oh, and that one's he's just taken a little bit of a tumble off the boardwalk. But such gracious creatures, and to see them just completely relaxed and at home in their natural environment, it's a real privilege, absolute treat.
Scott Simpson says it's the perfect example of why the government last year launched a plan to rid New Zealand of possums, rats and stoats by 2050.
Well, it just makes me think about how important it is that if we possibly can to restore as much of the natural heritage of New Zealand back to its original state. That's why that Predator 2050 stuff is so important, because this is a living, breathing example of what it could be like.
And this became a theme of the trip. On a hilltop in winds that were so strong we could hardly stand up, the Minister, Maggie Barry, who hosted a TV gardening show for years, was in her element among the mega herbs.
Magnificent. We can only imagine how gorgeous the bulbinellas would have been about 6 weeks ago, but they have died back. And you can see the leaves are dying back here, but effectively they keep as much photosynthesising going as possible to then...
The plants and animals here are all thriving despite an inhospitable climate. There've never been any rats, stoats or possums, and all the cattle and rabbits that were brought here have been removed. Though there is some introduced grass which Ms Barry would like dealt to.
This is what Predator Free is all about, to be able to see a future where the predators are not making an impact and are allowing our nature to regenerate in a way that returns it to what it ought to be. So this is, for me, the vision of what we can achieve.
There's a long way to go. Getting rid of the worst pests from the mainland islands of New Zealand has been likened to putting the first man on the moon. But each time Doc clears an island, it hones its skill. Just 1 kilometre away on the much larger Auckland Island, there are 3 pests ripping up the forests and taking out the birds. Doc's Southern South Island manager, Alan Munn, says plans are being drawn up for them too.
Well, if we can't make places like this predator-free, the rest of New Zealand's going to be extremely difficult. So we've made a great start in the subantarctic islands, and we've really only got the main Auckland Island to remove the pests and predators from. And that's the next thing to be doing, really.
When do you think that might get onto that?
Well, we're planning for it now, but, well, it'd be nice to think we'd be actually doing some work in 18 months ago or so.
And that's the pigs, is it?
Yeah, pigs and the cats. There's cats here too in very low numbers. But it'd be good to get both things at the same time. There's also mice on this main Auckland Island. But at this stage of it, that may be a step too far.
Maggie Barry says the trip's shown her these subantarctic islands could take more tourists, and they should pay more for the upkeep. Private companies who take tourists to the islands need to have a concession and pay $400 for an entry permit. A price that gives a lucky few a glimpse of what a predator-free New Zealand could one day look like. In the Auckland Islands, for Checkpoint, Ian Telfer.